Yo, what's up, guys? Let me make sure I'm hitting all the right buttons. Okay. I think the stream's going over to YouTube. Apologies about the tardiness. I was on a call with a friend of mine, helping him out with some website stuff for his business. Also, check it out. I have a whiteboard now on the streams. Digital whiteboard. Pretty fun. I don't know how I'm going to use it, but I'll figure it out. Draw on the screen. Probably have too much fun with that. Is this for premium members only? No, it's not. It shouldn't be. It should be for everybody. Anyway. Also, one more thing. I've been having some fun on Instagram over there. Uploaded a video a few days ago just clowning on this chick over Greenland, and it got like 600,000 views. And I got, 7,000 followers from it. New followers. So, anyway, I'm having more fun posting short videos, just clowning on people and talking about stuff. So go follow. I'll post a link in the live chats right now for my Instagram page. And after I'm done with the stream, I'll post it in the description so you can go check it out. All right. Artsy Joan can't hear anything. Is your volume up? Did you try unplugging it and plugging it back in? Everything's good on my end. Cool. So tonight we're going to talk about the, spend a good amount of the stream talking about the Signal Gate. Some internet sleuths over the weekend infiltrated Signal chats that were being used by anti-ICE protesters in Minneapolis and figured out a whole lot of very interesting stuff about these Signal chats, including some pretty high-level politicians being involved as admins on these Signal chats. Now, the Signal chats themselves aren't illegal. Suspicious, sure. Immoral and unethical, most definitely. Coordinating on encrypted platforms to conduct your, destabilization operations, your obstruction operations. Highly unethical. But what is apparently illegal is that they were using these Signal chats to gather license plate numbers of people who they thought were ICE, and somehow were able to run thousands of license plate numbers through federal databases and basically get information about each license plate, which is, from my understanding, highly illegal to use federal databases in a non-investigative capacity when you don't really have the right to be doing it, to run license plate numbers, especially thousands of them, and do it to try to dox ICE agents and coordinate your protests against them. So, very, very big bombshell with Signalgate. And you remember back in 2020, at the height of the Summer of Love, what was the most downloaded app? That was, lo and behold, Signal. Encrypted app Signal was the most downloaded amidst nationwide protests in June 2020, right after the George Floyd incident. And also, Signal was created by ex-Facebook executives. I think the guy that started Signal originally started WhatsApp, and then WhatsApp got bought by Facebook. And when WhatsApp got bought by Facebook, he became some kind of executive or high-up guy in Facebook for a little while. Ended up leaving Facebook and then starting the nonprofit Signal Foundation. And so it looks to me, at least, almost like their goal in starting Signal was to create a safe space for Antifa and other groups to foment their destabilization ops. So Signal's kind of sketchy. It is end-to-end encrypted, so I've used Signal. I don't use it much, but it is definitely a place where Antifa does their things. So we're going to look at Signalgate for a little bit, how it connects to some of these politicians, and then touch a little bit on that that shooting of the gentleman in Minneapolis over the weekend. And what else shall we discuss as well? Looks like Trump's sending in Tom Homan, border czar, to bitch slap Tim Walz and Jacob Frey, Minnesota governor and Minneapolis mayor, respectively. Also, Bill Clinton and Obama putting out stupid-ass statements over the whole Minneapolis nonsense. And then we'll get into some other subjects. That plane crash in Maine, pretty interesting. The private jet that crashed at I think it was Portland, Maine airport. 8 people died from it, but looks like some pretty influential people were on that private jet. Some lawyers and others involved in anti-Trump agendas. Let's see. Treasury Department today canceled a bunch of contracts with Booz Allen Hamilton. Scott Bessent announced canceling all Treasury Department contracts with consulting firm Booz Allen Hamilton. Now, why this is notable is because Booz Allen Hamilton is a big-time CIA contractor. They do a lot of contracting work with the CIA, so that is a notable subject on the list tonight. We'll be talking about Ted Cruz a little bit as well. Ted Cruz is just a douchebag. The discombobulator. Trump admits secret weapon used in the Venezuelan operation. They're calling it the discombobulator. Discombobulator. And we'll finish up talking about Chinese coup. A little more on that. I think we touched on it on Friday, but it was just kind of rumors that we were talking about on Friday. Looks like some of those reports are getting legitimized about the coup going on in the CCP. Donald Trump don't trust China. China's asshole. So yeah, what's going on there? I don't know. But we'll see. We'll check it out. Cool. Let me hang out in the chat, and then we will get into today's business. Do I know, Jordan, did you know the same type of plane issued for SpaceX employees and at Area 51? What do you mean? The same type of plane issued for SpaceX employees and at Area 51? I am not sure what you're talking about. The plane that crashed was owned by an LLC lawyer group out of Texas. Yes. That private plane that crashed in Bangor Airport in Maine was owned by a lawyer group out of Texas that tried to work on a lot of anti-ICE, pro-open border immigration, anti-Trump type stuff. So some of the libs are going on some quite the conspiracy theory about that one. It's like a lot of the shit that the left wing is doing these days are exactly what the right wing was doing in 2012 to 2014. Like all the Alex Jones listeners from 15 years ago who thought the government was going to come shoot us all and during Jade Helm. So we got to go get bulletproof vests and strap up. And oh my gosh, he's coming for us all. And now it's the libs doing that shit under Trump. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny to see. Shit's going full circle. Yeah, right? Exactly. But the context is different, of course, under Obama than it is under Trump. But Who are the conspiracy theorists now? And remember, it used to be the libs that were the anti-vaxxers. Now, who are the anti-vaxxers now? So, at the end of the day, this shows you that political labels are retarded. And it's not about being a lefty or a righty. It's not about identifying with your favorite group. It's just about common sense. It boils down to common sense, logic, and reason. And the more you disassociate from the need to identify with a tribe and identify with a label, I think increases your ability to have common sense and reason. Granted, community is important. Having a tribe is important, but you can't let yourself get culty with it. That's the most important thing. Don't let your need for community obsess you with being sort of sucked into that group and all of the echo chamber and shit they believe. So, a few more comments and we'll get moving. Prime Minister Carney sucks. Yeah, good luck, Canada. Good luck, Canada. You will need it. Saw idiots trying to protest in Portland, Maine. Good luck protesting anywhere out there, man. In like -4-degree weather. Silver, man, dude. Yeah, I forgot to add that into today's show, but holy shit, silver up, 12-13% at some point today, hitting $114, just straight gapping up today and then shooting vertical. And then the correction happened. And within a few hours, it was like down 10% from the top. Went up to like $114, then shot down to like 101, back to 100, something like that. Now it's back up to like 106, 107. It's crazy. Crazy volatile, man. Crazy volatile. What's it at? I'm checking the chart. Up to 110 now. Let's see. I just want to check out what it got up to and then down to today. Shot up to pretty much 117. And then 5 hours later, it was down to 101. Wow. Like 10% swings within the day. 3 of them. Wild, man. Gold, too. Gold had some fun, but not as much fun as silver. You'll get some corrections, with a volatility like that. Yeah, might correct a bit. Might go back down to 100 or 95, but and just give it some time. It'll probably go back up. Yeah, I think we'll see 95 again. But still, it'll, won't be long before ATHs again. All-time highs. You wonder if SpaceX and Area 51 buy the plans from the same buyer and get a different paint job. You'd be talking about the Air Force then? SpaceX and the Air Force buy the plans from the same buyer? For what, though? Because SpaceX mainly does rockets. And Area 51, the contractors out there, usually Lockheed. Maybe some Raytheon stuff. But honestly, Area 51, because it's so public, I really don't think much secret stuff is at Area 51. But, I mean, Elon's so obsessed with his rockets. I always wonder if Elon's messing around with exotic propulsion systems, but it just doesn't seem like that. Seems like Elon is so invested in his rockets that I honestly think the exotic propulsion stuff is going to come from really small startup private contractors that we probably never heard of before and don't know by name. Really small ones. And they could be shell companies of bigger corporations. Like you could have SpaceX creating like a shell company or Lockheed creating a shell company to run some of this research through. But SpaceX proper, I think they're just so invested in rockets. But anyway. Let's get into it. Real quick. Speaking of investing. Talking crypto, though. My digital money. With the way inflation and all of this volatility is going on in the markets, currency devaluation, paper dollars, people are just moving away from those. So a lot of folks are moving into other assets. Precious metals, yes. Crypto has pulled back over the last 4 or 5 months, sure, but in due time, it will go back up, I do believe. So it might be a good time to start dollar cost averaging, buying bit by bit, and My Digital Money can help you with that. They'll help you with secure offline storage, putting it in a cold storage wallet, training you how to do that. You can also open investment accounts through them. They've got crypto IRAs, and you can roll over your existing 401k as well to enjoy certain tax benefits. And they do fractional metals as well. They can assist with buying small amounts of metals. So they do gold, silver, platinum. They do a lot of crypto as well, of course, called My Digital Money. And you can check them out at jordansathercrypto.com. Enter your deets, get their free investment guide, free crypto investment guide. And link will be in the description below to jordansathercrypto.com or mydigitalmoney.com as well. Links for those in the description and the pinned comments. Signal chats, man. Signal Gate, anti-ICE insurgency command chat, highly organized. Some journalists infiltrated it, and over the weekend, man, this was like all I was seeing on X, and had some great internet sleuths on the X digging into this and exposing the shit out of it and connecting some dots as well. So from my understanding, I think it was Cam Higbee who is one of the people that infiltrated it and did some of the main reporting on these chats. Infiltrated organizational signal groups all around Minneapolis with the sole intention of tracking down federal agents and impeding, assaulting, and obstructing them. Each area of the city has a signal or several signal groups. Let's start with a screen recording of all members of the South Side group to start. So you probably got... This is just of the South Side group and an alphabetical scroll of it. 300 to 500, be my guess. Just going down the list. Cam Higbee had been undercover inside the groups for days. You'll notice emojis next to people's names. Here's a key for what those emojis mean. So they have a little emoji depending on, I guess, the job they gave that person. You have a mobile patrol, a stationary patrol, foot patrol, dispatch, hyper-local group messenger. They have a license plate checker. That sounds sketch. I don't know how legal that is. They have medics, aftercare providers. I'll hand it to these signal groups. That is amazingly coordinated. For each occupation or shift position, protesters have to undergo quote-unquote training. It's unclear what the training entails, other than numerous slides of instruction. I've seen it mentioned repeatedly. Who is paying for all of this? Who indeed? So it looks like they conduct calls, signal calls a couple of times a week, where they have instructions and trainings. Amazing. Each chat for a specific part of each city has smaller districts broken up to what they call patrol zones, which guide ICE chasers on where they should be and in what position. And it looks like each of their zones in their district, so they're breaking it down even further. What would that be? Maybe 2 to 4 square miles. Here's a screen recording of their plate database as well, and a link to its instructions. Plate checkers, plate checking guides, submit ICE plates, frequently asked questions. Amazing. Here's a screenshot of the active dispatch call. It's always active as well. And a shift change. They literally have people almost 24 hours a day in this dispatch group, I guess, just getting reports of where ICE is and trying to send their protesters, obstructo terrorists, as I'm calling them now. Here's a recording of the protesters actively tailing the vehicle that Cam Higbee was in. A new group chat for each zone is made every day. The chats are dated and deleted at the end of each day. Of course, deleting their paper trail. By midday, the group chats hit maximum capacity, about 1,000 people. So that's the max capacity allowed by signal. And people who are not chasing federal agents are asked to leave to create room for those who are actively trying to chase down agents. The dispatch calls also reach maximum capacity constantly. I believe it's 50 people, which means at any given time in each small zone, there are 50 people chasing agents. So that was in each of these zones. You probably have about 50 people in this square. So about 50 people per square chasing ICE agents. Ish. Insane, man. Ooh, what's this? They're everywhere and local police are cooperating. Here an observer calls out a possible agent but says she's just out walking her dog, so can't continue on. Dispatch calls for backup. Also below is a message indicating that local PD may get involved if ICE hinders public safety. Also, these ICE chasers apparently have a safe house somewhere. Cam Higbee was not able to identify where that was. Here is an ICE chaser indicating he's expected to be at home base, wherever that is. Wild, dude. FBI says they're launching a Signal Gate investigation. course, we'll see. We'll see what comes of that. John Solomon last week did report that he's expecting within the month we'll be getting some arrests of people who are funding these anti-ICE protests, these ICE chasers. So, again, we'll see. This is that X account that was doing an amazing job over the weekend, truth sleuthing all these signal chats. 0 Hour was doing a great job. Oh, would you look at that? Apparently, the man that was shot by ICE over the weekend was in some of these signal chats. Also, I had read that what was her name? Renee Good? The woman in the car that got shot? I had read that she was in some of these signal groups too, and I mean that's how they were on scene so fast and then obstructing the federal agents and getting involved with each other, and then consequences happen, right? So, if you don't want to get into the shit where you could get hurt, probably not a good idea to go stress out the already stressed out federal agents. Those federal agents are already on edge. You should probably understand that and know that before you go out and protest. Just a thought. And I guess these signal chats, after they got doxxed, a bunch of people in them were saying they were fleeing the state because they got exposed. Insurrectionists said they're fleeing the state country. A tipster messaged some of the people in one of the Minnesota insurrectionist signal chats. The user indicated that they intend to flee the state because we're in so much trouble. We're all fucked, this guy said before talking about contacts in Cuba. Apparently some of these Antifers want to flee to Cuba? Direct connection of ICE Watch network to Tim Walz's administration. Let's see. We literally have the Minnesota government and Tim Walz's administration partnering with domestic terrorist ICE Watch networks to impede ICE from deporting violent illegal aliens. This is a Minnesota government site, Office of Ombudsperson for Families. Notice that the download PDF links on the bottom of the page contain nothing. This Monarca website is just a shell. Where's this going? Oh, yeah. Amanda Kohler was one of the individuals that they suspect is an admin in some of these signal chats. And they suspect that Amanda Kohler was one of the people that had access to license plate reading databases. Or maybe she's connected to like a corrupt local PD guy who's running license plates for her. But I think she was a campaign staffer, or she was some kind of staffer for Tim Walz there. I forget her exact position. Let me look that up real quick. Campaign strategist. She was Tim Walz's campaign strategist. She was part of Minnesota ICE Watch. organizing some of these signal chats. So, they illegally captured 5,000 license plates in that signal group. Here's how their spreadsheet looked. So they were making spreadsheets where you have plate ID, the amount of reports that particular car with that plate was getting from their group, I suppose, and then the state that plate was from, plate status. You've got a couple tags on there: highly suspected ICE and confirmed ICE. Vehicle description on some of these. Dude, this is straight insurgency. This is professional, man. This is some professional shit. And again, how did they get the training and the know-how to do this in such a professional way? And B, funding. Who's got the time and money to do this? Signalgate. Plate checking website defrost.net. They made this domain private. Requires a password now after Signalgate got exposed. defrostminnesota.net. Oh, they deleted the whole website. Also, this plate checking website, defrostminnesota.net, look when it was registered. Look at that. It was only registered 2 weeks ago. Amazing. License plate checking website. Brand new. Created back on 1/11. When did ICE begin showing up? ICE began showing up late December, but the massive push of agents into the city was around January 6th, so license plate checking website just a couple of days later. Someone created it. Big surprise. Also, the rumor is Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan was one of the admins in that signal chat. So people are thinking that literally the government of the state of Minnesota is behind the protests. Nose rings says it all, as does the birth control glasses, as we call them. Nobody's going to want to bang her with those on. Peggy frickin' Flanagan, dude. Look at that, man. That's a big one. They call that a schnoz. Also, here's an old video of Minnesota State Representative Alex Falconer bragging about his role in signal chats. I don't know when this video is from. I think it's, listening to it, it feels somewhat recent-ish. Within maybe a few weeks to a month or two recent. Not a few days, but maybe a few weeks old.
You know, yesterday we had the young man, 13-year-old, handcuffed by ICE. His father taken away. I arrived there as soon as I could. I talked to some of the family.
Oh, maybe it is just from like last week or something.
Members is devastating, and I don't know. Just going home and talking to my kids about what happened and how this is affecting.
I think the most shocking thing about this is that he has enough testosterone in his body to procreate.
our community. These are terrible times, but we will get through it. We'll get stronger for it, and we will look out for one another. Before coming to the state legislature,
oh my God, is there a single white person in that audience? No, there's not. There's not at all.
I'm a community organizer at heart, and that's part of what I'm trying to bring to the legislature. I'm helping to lead the community response, rapid response network that we have, given any ICE situations. I have a couple cards here. I'm willing to stop in to stay around and talk with anybody that wants any more information. We've got a couple groups on the app Signal that we would love for you to join. Whether or not you want to be part of the Resistance Network, I fully understand that you may not be comfortable with that, but you can help us in a lot of ways by sending an alert that if you see any suspicious vehicles, any traffic, if you know of anybody that is being targeted, that's being detained, we have resources immediately available that we can send to you, send to their family, get them legal help, help the families.
Sounds highly illegal. What do you guys think? Hold on. What I want to try and do... I'll do that. And then we'll move that behind. Yeah! Nope. What I want to do... I'm trying to get my little whiteboard in that box down there. Yeah! Nice! That'll be fun to mess with. Alright. Arrest him immediately. Yeah, I mean, just being in a Signal chat or coordinating it isn't illegal, right? They have to find knowing crimes of foreknowledge. So, which in this case, I don't think it'll be super tough. But Signal's also end-to-end encrypted, so it also makes things difficult. And they're so good about deleting their paper trail. But can you just straight subpoena Signal for records? I don't know. Would they even have any? Maybe they set Signal up to delete data. But I ain't no IT guy. A call to action can be illegal. Yeah, you might have a point there. Might have a point. Then I guess you have to prove if they are knowingly giving out a call to action for illegal operations. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it'd be all that tough to dig up dirt on him. He's just got sad eyes. Like, look at that. The eyebrow angle. He's got very sad eyes. A lot of wrinkles in that forehead. Constantly kind of furrowing his eyebrows. Hairline. Sad. All right, we got statements from our boy Obama. Obama calls on every American to support and draw inspiration from Minneapolis anti-ICE protesters to hold our government accountable. Dang, I don't know how I'm going to try to draw on this and then have to mess around with the keyboard. Let's do that for now. The killing of Alex Pretty. It's a heartbreaking tragedy. It should be a wake-up call to every American, regardless of party. Blah, blah, blah. For weeks now, people across the country have been greatly outraged by masked ICE recruits and other agents acting with impunity. La 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 la, blah 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 blah. Bill Clinton did one too. Who's got more likes? Billy Boy or Obama? Bill Clinton turned off his comments, of course. Both Clintons did. This is reposted on disclosed.tv. That's not Obama's account. But here's Billy Boy's from his account. Oh no, democracy. We gotta save democracy. Blah, blah, blah. Freedoms. Blah, blah, blah. Peaceful protesters. Drink every time they say that. Blah, blah, blah. Iceman bad. Blah, blah, blah. And then Trump is sicking Tom Homan on the crowd. And I guess Governor Tim Walz and Jacob Frey are calling Trump because they know they're fooked. Probably trying to make a deal, or Trump's bitch slapping him. Governor Tim Walz called me with the request to work together with respect to Minnesota. It was a very good call. And we actually seem to be on a similar wavelength. I told Governor Walz that I would have Tom Homan call him, and that what we are looking for are any and all criminals they have in their possession. The governor respectfully understood that. He was happy that Tom Homan was going to Minnesota, and so am I. Oh my God. I just love reading these. And reading between the lines and understanding you're dealing with a frickin' New Yorker here. And New Yorkers will bullshit the shit out of you with what they say. If New Yorkers make a public post saying how much they love you, they probably hate your guts. And if they say how much they hate your guts, they might really love you. It's great. Sicking Tom Homan on them, and they're scared. Jacob Frey, too. Trump says he spoke with Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey. Tom Homan en route to Minneapolis right now. Tom Homan will also meet with Jacob Frey. See, they're all so sad. It's always the eyebrows. Very good telephone conversation with Mayor Jacob Frey. Lots of progress being made. Tom Homan will be meeting with him tomorrow. Thank you for your attention. Don't want to get on that man's bad side. And all right, on to Alex Preddy. Department of Homeland Security investigating whether Alex Preddy's gun accidentally discharged. Dude, when I saw the photo of the pistol that he had brought to whatever the hell he was doing. Do they have a photo of the pistol in... Give me a photo of the pistol. The DHS posted. Yeah, that one. When I saw DHS post that photo, I thought, oh shit, that gun probably went off by itself. Guns don't shoot people, people shoot people, unless it's a SIG P320. If you know anything about the history of the Sig Sauer P320, it is known for having unintended discharges. Basically, gun fires itself. If it's in the wrong kind of holster, like they're known for going off in Safariland holsters, or if you drop it the wrong way, shimmy the slide a little bit, and it's not all models, it's not every single P320, but like certain, it's just kind of known for going off when it's not supposed to go off. And it's the internet joke of the gun world is, I mean, there's some ranges out there and some firearm competitions that won't even allow SIG P320s at their ranges or their competitions anymore, because there's just can't be sure. So when I saw this was a P320, man, dude, that's the first thought that came to my mind. Like, oh shit, what if Alex Preddy's gun actually did go off, but nobody shot it? Maybe he was just wrestling with a cop or something, and then it got squished, or the firearm fell out, dropped, hit the ground, cracked off a round, and then the cop thought Alex Preddy shot, so he drew out his firearm and then shot back. And you could see he's got his own, like Alex Preddy has his own mods on this thing. That looks like an aftermarket trigger. And then he's got the red dot on there, but this looks to have been modified with that trigger. And when people start modifying shit on guns, I mean, I've never had any of my pistols modified, or I don't know much about modifying firearms, okay? So I'll throw that out there. But it can sometimes make the trigger a lot lighter, and you start messing with the internals, and if you don't do it right, you can fuck things up. So and at the end of the day, man, I mean, if you go to a protest, like, I get it. Thank you, chat, for adding in some of the details. I don't know too many of the details around the Alex Preddy shooting. Like, what, did he bring extra mags? And I didn't really watch the video. 'Cause, internet people, they will waste 100 hours dissecting every single little grain and pixel and angle of these things. And it's like, what? It's not going to change my life if I watch it or I don't. So I didn't spend all that much time watching it. But the whole concealed carry thing, right? Like, I apparently he had a concealed carry permit, so he was legally allowed to carry the firearm. That doesn't bother me. Even going to a protest, concealed carrying doesn't bother me. I can understand whether it's a Libby or a right-wingy. I can understand anybody bringing a firearm. 2A applies to everybody, right? But it is the notion of, all right, my intention is to obstruct federal agents. Whether you're armed or not, probably not a good idea. And extra not a good idea if you are armed. And if for any reason you start getting into a tussle, any kind of altercation with the federal agent, it might be a good idea to say, hey, just so you know, like, declare the thing. Just like when you get pulled over in a vehicle or a motorcycle. depending on the situation, it might be a good idea to declare. Like if you start getting detained by the federal agents, say, hey, just so you know, I have a firearm at my 3 o'clock or my 6 o'clock or, appendix. Sometimes the cop will say, all right, that's fine. I won't touch mine if you don't touch yours, and everything's all in well. But if you don't declare, and then shit starts going south, then yeah. People were saying he had 3 mags, all loaded, 1 in the chamber, 2 in his pockets. Yeah, bringing 3 mags is... Some people saying the extra mag is irrelevant. So he had 1 in his gun and then 2 spares. Even 1 spare is not bad, but 2 spares, I don't know many people that bring 2 spares. I've carried 1 spare before, but 2 is a bit much. And he did not have his concealed carry permit on his person, thus a violation of his carry license. He also didn't have any other ID on him, which is a violation of Minneapolis laws. Thank you, chat. That's why I love having the chats up on the screen, because we can crowdsource information. No one has seemed to mention the gun barrel seems unaligned, seems to point slightly upwards. That's a non-issue. It's just the way the barrel, what word do I want to say, reciprocates or whatever when you have a striker-fired pistol. So my Glock does the same thing. That's normal. When you have the slide back, the barrel will slightly point up like that. Tilt. That's the word I wanted. What are Idaho's gun laws like? What laws? Probably some of the most friendly in the nation. It's constitutional carry here, so what's a permit? I don't know what the hell a permit is. Stop talking about it, dude. Watch the video that shows the agent took the gun out of his holster and the other agent murdered him. Hey, look, I'm not like a super duper, no matter what ICE does, I'm going to defend ICE kind of person, right? I think these situations could have and should have been handled better. Sure. ICE gets into a stressful situation. They can make, would we call it a mistake, or would we just call it a situation they could have handled better? But at the same time, I mean, shit. Cause and effect. Consequences. Actions have consequences. Homeboy comes strapped up, involved in these ICE Watch signal groups. Like, his intent is to obstruct and inhibit federal agents. And then he comes strapped up. He starts getting into an altercation with federal agents. Shit goes south. I mean, there is a million things he could have done to avoid this whole situation. And there's probably like 2 things the ICE agents could have done to avoid the situation. So everybody just wants to like blame the other side and find fault. Whose fault was it? Like it's just a blame game. Although at the end of the day, ICE wouldn't be out there if we didn't have 20 million illegal immigrants in this country from open border politicians, thanks Joe Biden, right? So there's a consequence from an action. There's a cause and effect. ICE wouldn't be out there without all the mass migration. And then ICE would be able to do their job better if we didn't have all these Antifas obstructing them. And some people would probably still have their lives if we didn't have these obstructors out in full force very violently. And then at the end of the day, it's pretty coincidental, or not, that the hotbed of Antifa obstruction violence right now just happens to be Minneapolis, Minnesota, which just happens to be the state where we recently had $20 billion in Somalian immigration fraud exposed. And some of this Somali 20 billion immigration fraud money, whatever, directly tied to the Democrat politicians in the state that are letting it happen. Wow, what a coincidence. $20 billion in immigrant fraud exposed, and then that's like hotbed of Antifa right there. Central, Antifa Central. Wow, amazing. So there's a million things. Could have done to avoid this. But oh yeah, you have. How terrible. We're devolving into tyranny now because a couple fucking idiots went out with a car or a gun and then pressed the already heated and stressed federal agents. Like this shit, right? You got Catherine Austin Fitts out here. And you got a lot of people like this. I'm seeing it all over Instagram and Twitter. So-called truth seekers who are woken up and red-pilled and they're like, oh, yeah, F Trump, we're devolving into tyranny now. This is the mind fuck. They're out here like, I support deportations, but I don't support killing American citizens and the tyranny that we're devolving into. Like it's one or the other, right? Like assuming or insinuating that's exactly what happened. We're not devolving into tyranny, you retards. You're such drama queens. Freaking drama queens. Like this right here. I love Catherine Austin Fitts' work on budgets. Her Tucker Carlson podcast she did a few months back was great. But what the hell? Catherine Austin Fitts warns that ICE may start rounding up people without warrants, even targeting U.S. citizens and seizing their property after branding them domestic terrorists. Dude, you do have some U.S. citizens that are legit conducting terroristic operations, I guess we could say. You know, I'll be honest, I don't really like the label domestic terrorist, right? That could become subjective and arbitrary. But we definitely have some U.S. citizens conducting highly immoral, unethical, and I suppose we could say unlawful behaviors. She says the classic problem reaction solution playbook will be used, claiming that any resistance to ICE gives the president a pretext to deploy the military. She is terrified about Trump deploying the military. I'm like, fuck it, bring it on. We are not the same, bitch. Yeah, it's like two totally different mindsets leading to two totally different worldviews and predictions of the future and, I guess, angle on what's happening. Yeah, wild. But her foundation for this is assuming Trump is Mr. New World Order. So she's looking at this like Trump's an Illuminati puppet. I'm looking at this from the angle that he is not, which thus leads us to two totally different conclusions about what's going to happen. Am I saying for a fact I'm right and I know everything? No, but I am confident that my angle is, I guess, more legitimate than hers, but we all are confident that our own beliefs are closer to the truth than other people's. That's why we hold them as beliefs. She didn't work at the Federal Reserve. She worked at HUD. Government agency. But I don't know. Maybe she worked at a Federal Reserve at some point or something. But she worked at HUD during, I think, Bush years. She's great when it comes to budgets, for sure. But that sort of political extrapolation analysis, like, she's great for, I don't want to say superficial or surface level awakening type stuff, but it's really like, I mean, honestly, those Q posts. The Q posts really kind of helped deeper political analysis of the sort of game theory or the 5D chess going on. And that's difficult for some people. Even some very like intelligent people. They have a difficult time sort of assessing behaviors and gathering why certain things are going on. You know who's really good at that, though, is freaking Ghost in Badlands. Gordon. Ghost of Base Patrick Henry. He is good at looking at a situation and identifying possibilities of who is doing what and why. What's their angle? What's their motive? Their objective? Is it for good or bad? How are different players trying to leverage each other? And for what reason? It's good. Gordon's great at that. So I defer to him. He sticks to geopolitics, so I defer to him for a lot of geopolitical analysis. Whether it's Middle East, Venezuela, U.S. shenanigans. But, yeah. Yeah, Dork Journalist had Catherine Austin Fitts on a few times. It's kind of what I was talking about at the beginning. How you got the libbies out here doing exactly what the right-wingers did 15 years ago. Liberal Catwoman says she's purchasing a bulletproof vest because she thinks the government's trying to kill her. Middle-aged swim mom purchasing a bulletproof vest is the definition of fascism. Might want to choose your words better. It sounds like she called herself a fascist. Make sure you buy the right level of plates. Also, they're heavy. You might want to practice walking around in them. Now that private jet that crashed in Maine. Private business jet carrying 8 people crashed while attempting to take off from Bangor International Airport in Maine yesterday evening. Occurred about 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Bombardier jet. Cause is being investigated. Don't know what happened exactly. But there is that, huge winter storm moving through the area. And then we're learning that the private jet belonged to a prominent anti-ICE, anti-Trump lawyer. Is that the... Okay, so that's the corporation the jet was registered to. KTKJ Challenger LLC out of Houston. Agent name Jason Itkin. And Kurt Arnold is the manager. So you got a couple of names there. Jason Itkin, Kurt Arnold. And Jason Itkin is a law partner with Kurt Arnold of the Arnold and Itkin law firm. They brag about obtaining the largest settlement for an undocumented worker in U.S. history. They are very liberal personal injury lawyers. They combined to spend over $11 million in the 2026 election cycle thus far. They boast about their work representing illegal immigrants on their firm websites. They formed the Texans for Truth and Liberty PAC last year. Put $10 million into it for Texas state election influencing. Interesting. Maybe they forgot to de-ice the plane. Sorry. Sorry, guys. All right. It's getting late. Sorry, I'm going to have to hop off the stream in a couple of minutes. I'll be back here tomorrow. Normal time. 8 Eastern. And we'll cover the rest. So I'll hang out in the chat for a couple of minutes and then... Gotta get the royalty-free music going. Dude, I just had to update the operating system, and I'm lost. All right. Yeah, how's the weather where you guys are at? Cold, snowy, dry? Bad storm? When am I going to interview with Cliff again? Not sure. I'll hit him up. I'll ask him. Appreciate the gold pills over on Pilled Country Girl. Thank you, Andrew, for the $2. Much appreciated. Yeah, we'll chat about the China stuff tomorrow. It's getting late. I'm tired. I gotta eat, make dinner. Got some Washington friends in the chat. Western Law, Republic. Out in Republic. Sticks. Sardines for dinner. And not tonight, man. Cottage cheese. Pineapple blueberries. Fruit and some cottage cheese. Nine degrees there. You can count your temperature on your hands. Wild. Yeah, maybe I'll have some bananas and rice for dinner, right? And bananas and rice. God. Just stop putting those people in front of cameras. Do you not learn by now? Tom Homan on the move. Yo, let's hit He's probably there by now. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on Adsby. Dude, the ads on Adsby are getting bad. Bad ads on Adsby, man. See? I mean, I just have the, unless, you know, of course, Tom Homan's jet probably already landed. I don't imagine it's in there. Of course, the transponder may or may not be public, and it may or may not be a military jet he's flying on. What is that thing just doing circles over Georgia? Taking off from some Air Force base. Tanker. Helicopters. Helicopter. Some P-8 doing circles. South Carolina. C-17. Some United Kingdom jet flying around. Training. P-8. P-8. Yeah, nothing too notable. What is that one, though? Some Navy 737 taking off from Oklahoma City and then just doing circles by the border over El Paso. Now looks like it's going back home. That's a weird one. It's the executive jets that I try to look out for. Like any of the you know, these kinds of the Gulfstreams, the Learjets, these bombardiers. Sometimes you can see like the executive 737s or something carrying VIPs places. That's just a tanker. Anyway. Does that track drones also? On occasion, you can see like a Predator drone that has its transponder on, but very rarely. Only when they have it like publicly accessible. So. Do I ever post artist or song? Honestly, I have no idea what artist or song this is. This is some random copyright-free house live stream mix that I found on YouTube. So I'm sorry. I mean, I could like send you the mix, but I have no idea what artist this is. I'm sorry. I'd have to just... What's the app where you can play the song and it'll show you the song, whatever that is. Thank you, Tiffany. Much appreciated. No comment. Ironically, is a comment. Y'all are so old. When you started flying, you could smoke on the aircraft. I mean, you could still do that, but just might get in trouble if they catch you. With the plane tracker websites, I've never used any of the other ones. I haven't used Flight Radar or Flight Aware, so I'm not familiar with those. I've just always gone to Adsby. Another really fun site you can dick around on if you're ever near the ocean or anything, is marinetraffic.com, where you can see the marine traffic. Wow. It's kind of wild. Look at all the boats. The red ones are tankers. The green ones are... I think container ships, yeah. So all your green ones are container ships. All your red ones are tankers. I think your blue ones are tugs. Just local vessels like ferries and things. What we got? Blue. Blue is passenger ship. And it tells you where it came from and where it's going. Pretty cool. I forget the color of military craft, but it'll show you military boats too. I think that's a ferry. Yep, blue is ferry. Yeah, a little tugboat. Tugboat on the water. You got an app for all the tagged sharks? What about lightning strike map? Was it lightning maps? Yeah, it was lightning maps. This is a cool one too. See all the lightning strikes around the world. They triangulate them with radio frequency, and you can get real-time data on thunderstorms, lightning storms. See where all the lightning storms are around the world. That one's fun. Any other cool maps? I like maps that give us data. All right, guys. I'm heading out. Appreciate all y'all. I'll see you tomorrow. Mucho apreciado. See you el tomorrow. Quality Leering Jets. Quality Lear Jets. That'd be a good business name. Quality Lear Jets. All right, guys. Peace. See you tomorrow.